My guest today is AJ Gindi, the community advocate of Renewal, an organization that ensures that no Jew in this world is left without a kidney. For a typical person, it takes over 2 months to find someone who is a good kidney donor. But with Renewal, they can help someone in days. With a database of over 4,000 Jews waiting to help, Renewal has transformed the process of giving away a kidney. And AJ Gindi has been instrumental in ensuring the safety of Jews worldwide. This episode was incredible. Let's dive in. AJ Gindi, welcome to Impact.
Thank you for having me.
You are our community advocate for Renewal, facilitating the transplants of hundreds of kidneys, building a database of over 3,000 people waiting to give their kidneys,
4,000 now.
raising millions of dollars in support for Renewal, and you yourself are a kidney donor. AJ, I gotta ask, how did Renewal start?
Well, it started by a man by the name of Mendy Reiner. His name is Mendy Reiner. So he started off Renewal. Someone came to him back in the day, it's 2006 to be exact, and they were in need of a kidney. They had a friend that was in need of a kidney. So back then, there was two ways that you got a kidney. Either you got one off the black market, which means it costs a lot of money, or you waited for someone to get hit by a bus, and you hope that the hospital called you, and you hope that you got there in time, and you hope there was a match, and it will take you for another couple of years. So someone came up to him and said, listen, we're trying to raise some money to facilitate a transplant. Can you help us out? He said, okay, I'll give you $75, $100. He came home and told his wife the story that I was in shul today, and they came up to me to try to raise some money for a man that needs a kidney transplant. She said, Mandy, why don't you try something strange? I said, what should I try? What should I do? Why don't you put an ad like in the Jewish press? Little quarter-page ad, $75. Put a little bit about the guy that needs a kidney. So he got some information. He found out he's a father of 4. He has a couple of grandchildren already. And he says, father of 4, blood type O, grandfather, in desperate need of a kidney. If you'd like to donate, please contact me. He threw it out there. What he's got to lose? Sure enough, 29 or 30 people responded that they'll donate their kidneys.
Wow.
He couldn't believe it. He said, wow, this is incredible. So he tested those people. One of them was a good match, but now he had 29 people ready to donate kidneys. So he put a reverse ad. If you're in need of a kidney, contact me. Maybe I'll have a match for you. And he said, if I could do one a year, this is a home run. Just one transplant a year, I'm happy. And last year we did 153 transplants.
That's incredible. So with those first 29, they were old Jews waiting to just help another Jew?
A Jew waiting to help another Jew. You know, we just finished yesterday was Tisha B'Av. And they say one of the reason why the Bet HaMikdash was destroyed, the second Bet HaMikdash, was called Sinat Chinam. Baseless hatred. For no reason they didn't get along, whatever it might have been, Sinat Chinam. What we see in Renewal is Ahavat Chinam. Free love. Baseless love. There's no reason why someone should give somebody else their kidney. They don't even know who the person is. Many times it could be somebody coming from out of the country. It could be somebody from a different state. Someone you never met, someone you never know. Why would you want to go under the knife, put yourself in jeopardy, take away a vital organ from your body? Vital. We're not talking about taking away a fingernail. Taking away a toe. Taking away a finger. You're taking away a kidney. You can't live without a kidney. We're blessed to have 2, one to give away. But to go under a surgery like that for someone you don't know, that's not going to bring the Mashiach. I don't know what will. Because these people are doing it strictly for one reason. You're a Jew, you're in need, I'm going to help you.
That's incredible. And also, this is not the first time we've kind of seen something like this from you, where you wanted to go give a part of your body to another Jew just because that you're a Jew and they're a Jew. In fact, months before you gave your kidney, you were involved in going to give your bone marrow to another through the Stella Niato Rainbow Foundation. So tell me about that experience that kind of led to this pathway of giving for you.
It's a great question. It's a great topic. We had a book that we put out a few years ago, Renewal, when I first joined Renewal's team, and they listed me as the mystery donor. They spoke about different donors. I was called the mystery donor. Why was I a mystery? Years ago, when this poor girl, she's 14 years old, Stella Niato, she was 14 years old when she passed away because we could not find the bone marrow match. So the community took it upon themselves that we're going to build our own database of people. So when someone needs bone marrow, we can find from our own heritage, whether it be Lebanese, whether it be Sephardic, Egyptian, whatever it might be. Maybe our blood is different than the rest of the world, maybe we're different than the Western culture, whatever it might be. We wanted to have a database of our own people. So what they did is back in the day, is by Tisha B'Av, this particular holiday, or at the Top Gun basketball tournaments and stuff like that, they'd have booths set up. And then you would go to shul, and they say, would you like to test for bone marrow? They do a little cotton swab. They swab your mouth, and that's the end of it. So one time I was going to a basketball tournament, one of the Top Gun tournaments, and there was a table there, and I had a bunch of my friends with me, and someone noticed me at the table and said, AJ, you want to do a test for bone marrow? I was a little bit under pressure. I said, okay, sure, yeah, why not? So I swabbed, and I forgot about it. A couple of years later, I got a phone call that Mr. Gindi, you should know that you matched somebody, and we'd like to know, would you like to go through with the procedure, with the bone marrow transplant? So I told him, can you please, tell me what it means to do, I don't have no idea what is it.
You didn't know what you were swabbing for.
I had no idea I had no idea what it was in for. They said, well, there's two different ways we could do it. Either we actually scrape the marrow off your bone. That's a little bit of a painful process. Or the second process is we put you on a machine. We take all the blood out of your system, similar to a dialysis machine. We take the blood out. We take out the bone marrow. We put the blood back into your system, and you will regenerate and recreate your own bone marrow. And that's done in Boston. I said, that sounds a little bit more my type of style. Mm-hmm. I'll go on that machine. You take out what you need. Give me back my blood. I'll regenerate. Perfect. So we scheduled the time for the transplant. And I got a phone call 2 weeks before the transplant that unfortunately the recipient was not ready and the transplant was put on hold. I said, okay, fine, no problem. I got a phone call about a month and a half, 2 months later from this organization called Renewal. Mr. Gindi, would you like to test to see if you're a match for someone for a kidney transplant? I said, okay, what do you have so far? So far it looks like you might be a match. So I said, okay, what do I have to do? They said, we're going to send you a blood kit to your house. And there's going to be a script with that blood test. Just take it to LabCorp. They're on Route 35. Go there, give them the box. They know exactly what to do with the box. I got the box 2 days later in the mail. And I'll tell you the truth, I took the box, I put it next to my toaster, and I forgot all about it. I forgot about it. 2 weeks later, I got a phone call from Renewal. Mr. Gindi? I said, yes. Did you get that box we sent you? I said, oh, yes, I got it. She goes, oh, please, can you take it to LabCorp? We're waiting for the results. I said, okay, I'll take it there. So I went to LabCorp, I did the blood work. There was a script in there. They knew exactly what to do. They took the box, they sent it back to Renewal. And sure enough, about a month later, I got another phone call from Renewal. You're a good match. We'd like to know if you want to go to the hospital for a workup.
What was your reaction when you...
I said, really? Okay. Sounds good. What do I have to do now? They said, you have to go to make sure you're evaluated, make sure you're going to pass all the testing. So I said, okay. What do I do? You pick me up? You're going to take me there? Do I go with my wife? Yeah, of course we'll come pick you up. We'll take you to the hospital. I said, you know what? I'd rather do it on my own schedule. Make me the appointment, and I'll go with my wife, and I'll take care of the whole thing myself.
What was your initial reaction, like hearing that you're about to go give your kidney to someone?
I was psyched.
Psyched?
Psyched. Very few people did it before. I wanted it's going to be like an original type of guy. My cousin, Zach Gindi, was one of the first people to donate his kidneys in the community. So I knew he did it. So I contacted him to just get the ins and outs of what to expect and so on and so forth. He was very, very helpful. And there's another guy, his name was Albert Sutton, he donated to his father just recently, right before that. So there's a few people that did it that I could speak to fish them out, to find out some information. So what happened is I go to the hospital. They take out 17 vials of blood for the testing.
Terrifying.
You got to go through a psychological test, a meeting with a shrink. They want to make sure you're not some kind of Mejnun guy off the street giving away all your body parts. And they try to really break you. Now, Zach told me they're going to try to break you when you go to the psychological test.
After you decide to go donate your kidney, a psychologist tries to just...
break you down. They want to break you down.
Why?
They want to make sure you're not crazy. They want to make sure you know what you're doing.
Because people would just give their kidney.
Yeah, people have remorse later on, and they wonder what I do. I was crazy. How could I do such a thing? They sue the hospitals. How'd you take my kidney? I don't understand it. So I want to make sure that you're really a legitimate guy. You know what you're doing. You have your head on straight, and make sure you know what you're doing.
But you weren't worried because you knew that you were there for the right reason.
I knew they're going to trying to break me down. So I'm sitting at this meeting with this psychologist. It's me, my wife, and this psychologist. And the first question that came out of her mouth, how much are you getting paid? I said, getting paid? Nobody told me there's money involved. Are you getting paid for this? She said, why would you want to give away your kidney if you're not getting paid? I said, what do you mean? You want to have a chance to save somebody's life? I want to save something. Yeah, but you're going to go through an operation. You know, you could die on that table. Do you know that? I said, listen, I'm going to do my good deed. And whatever God wants to do, it's up to him. How are you going to feel if that kidney gets rejected in 2 months? How are you going to feel about that? You gave away a part of your part of your body, and now you don't have it anymore, and now it was rejected. How are you going to feel about that? I said, listen, ma'am, in all due respect, I'm doing my job. If God wants you to reject, it's going to reject. God wants it to take, it's going to take. It's okay. What about your children?
Oh, wow.
I said, my children? What about my children? Because, you know, if you give away your kidney, now if your kids need a kidney, you're probably a good match for them, and you gave your kidney away. Now what? I said, you know something? I believe if I give my kidney away, God's going to protect my children. They'll never need a kidney. So that's another good answer. She goes, what about your wife? Now, my wife's sitting right there. How are you going to answer about your wife?
Hard question.
My wife says, I want him to do it. I want him to give away his kidney. That was it. Discussion over, and we were done. Okay, so now roll the clock forward. One of the things that they tell me.
I have a question before that.
Go ahead.
What were you going to say if your wife had an answer?
No, I would have said, my wife wants me to do it. Listen, I was the president of Bikol Chalim for 6 years. I was the president of my shul for 20 years. My whole life is giving, and doing for other people. So she knew it was in my system. There's no way you're turning me away. The only way you're going to turn me away is if I don't match. But if I match, I'm going with it.
So then after this, they take you to the operation? Or?
No, so this is, that you passed the evaluation test. Only 30% of the people will pass evaluation. 70% of the people are rejected. 70%. So I had to be lucky enough to be part of the 30%. So one of the things that they tell me, okay, listen, you passed all the testing. Your vitals are good. You're in perfect shape. You're ready to do this thing. You have to know that at any point you want to back out of this surgery, you're out. You're on the gurney going into the operating room. You're having second thoughts. Your stomach's starting to churn. You're saying, you know what? I don't know if I could do this. I don't know. You know what? You're starting to sweat a little bit.
Leave.
Get up, get dressed, and walk out.
So it seems to me that the odds were stacked against you. I mean, like there's so many things going on that kind of gave you every way out.
Every way to get out.
Every way to get out.
That's what they have to do. They have to give you every chance to get out. You want to make sure you're hedged, that you really want to do this. They want to give you so many openings to get out. If you shut down all those doors and you say, I'm not getting out, I'm staying in, then they know you're a real good candidate.
So what compelled you to stay?
I just wanted to help somebody. I found out a little bit about the guy that I was giving it to. I didn't know his name, but I found out how old he was. He was just a few years older than me. And I found that he had like 6 months left to live if he didn't get a kidney. He was already suffering with this terrible disease. I said, I'm doing this. So
good answer.
They tell the recipient, at the same token, you have to know this guy could back out at any time. Don't put pressure on him. If you see him, if you don't see him, if you see him before the operation, don't go up to him, don't talk to him, don't make you feel like he's obligated to do it. If he wants out, he's out. Okay, so now I rolled the clock forward to the day of the transplant. February 5th, 2013. Renewal calls, okay, we're going to come pick you up, take you to the hospital, get you ready. I said, no, you have to pick me up. I'm going to go myself. Just do me one favor. Can you get me a hotel room in the city? I don't want to wake up 3:30 in the morning because you have to be in the hospital from 5:30.
Wow.
I said, I want to drive in from Deal at 3:30. Can you give me a hotel room in the city? And me and my wife will stay there. And this way I could go.
So Renewal accommodates for...
Oh, everything. They take care of everything. Everything you can think of, they take care of it. Food, transportation, airplanes, hotels, reimbursement of your wages. You had to work for 2 weeks, they'll reimburse you dollar for dollar. Anything you could think of, they're paying for it.
That's incredible.
They want to make sure you're going on, that you have no doubt in your mind that you're not going to lose a penny or lose a dollar or anything because you did this mitzvah.
So walking into the shul, you're driving, let's say you drive your train or you're driving to the hospital, right? What's it like going in and not knowing the other person on the other side? I understand you knew a little bit about him, his age, how many months he had to live, but you don't actually know him. And I think this goes back to the bone marrow, where you were going to give someone, again, you had virtually no connection with them. So what does it feel like to just walk in with no idea what's happening?
How do you like to, that's an excellent question, but how about being on the other side? Imagine this guy whose life is about to end unless someone steps forward and gives him a kidney. What is he thinking? Where is this person going to come from? Who's even thinking about me? My kids don't match. My wife can't give me. where's my way out? Where is Hashem sending him a way out? Somebody, some stranger is going to come. This guy lives in Queens. I live in West Long Branch. Some stranger from West Long Branch, New Jersey is going to say, hi, buddy, don't worry, I got you covered. My life is over. I got 6 months. I'm done. Who's going to give me their kidney? So now I'm in the hospital that morning. I walk into the hospital. I'm there 5:30 in the morning. And all of a sudden, they get you dressed in the blue garb and the whole thing. I got the thing on my head and the things on my feet. And I'm dressed up, ready to go for surgery. And this guy walks into the room, looks like a rabbi. And I'm thinking he's the clergy from the hospital, here to give me a bracha before the surgery. So he comes in, he walks in, goes, Mr. Gindi? I said, yes. Because my name is David Shisha. I'm from Renewal. I said, oh, wow, I thought you were the rabbi here to give me a bracha. He goes, no, I'm from Renewal.
So no beracha?
So he tells me, I said, he says, you want to meet your donor, your recipient? I said, wow, I can meet him now, before the surgery? Sure, I'd love to meet him. So he brings the guy in the room. I said the guy was about 10 feet away, standing by the door. So the guy's standing there with his wife, and I'm talking to this guy from Renewal, and I said, wow, something, those colon swabs, they really work. It's amazing how those colon swabs work. Because I'm going back to when I tested for the bone marrow, I did the colon swab.
Yeah, because that's how you got.
Right? He goes, colon swab? What do you mean? We don't do colon swabs. I said, you don't do colon swabs? What do you mean? He said, no, we don't. We do by blood. We don't do colon swabs. I said, how'd you get me here? You guys called me that I was a match. He goes, no, you called us. I said, no, I didn't call you. So now I see this guy starting to sweat, the recipient. He's saying, well, this guy's going to back out. This guy's backing out for sure. I look at the guy and say, listen, mister, I don't know who you are. I'm donating my kidney. You're going to get my kidney. I just want to know, how did they get me in this room? They said, I never called them. Because no, you probably went onto our website. I said, I didn't even know the name Renewal even existed. You called me up. You sent me a blood kit. I went to the hospital, and that was it. How did you find my name? He goes, 1 second. He calls his office, and he gets one of the girls. He says, look up Aaron Gindi. Find out how he got into our system. Where did we find him from? Where did he come from? She says, we have no background. All we have is that we send him a blood kit. Because why would we send him a blood kit? For what reason? She said, I don't know. We just sent it to him. So they called me the mystery donor.
What? Wow.
What really actually happened?
That's crazy.
The real story came out a few years later. You have to know, Renewal was very, very small at this time. And everything was done by paper and pen and no computer network.
Yeah, of course.
Everything was, they found a paper that I filled out for somebody else that needed a kidney 3 years before that I forgot about. I don't even remember that I even did it. And from that paper, they saw my blood type, they saw my age, they saw my weight, they saw my height. Then from there, that's when they called me. But I had no idea. They forgot all about it. I forgot all about it. I just thought I got the blood kit, and I was cool. But this guy was sweating, and his wife came running across the room, came and gave my wife the biggest bear hug you'd ever believe. She said, your husband's a malach. He's an angel. He's coming from God. He doesn't even know how we got into this room. He's giving my husband his life back. Where did he come from? He's an angel from God. My wife said, okay, I can't breathe. Can you let go of me, please?
Oh, that's incredible. That's awesome.
That was that story.
Wow, that's great. So you go, you meet them. Your wife gets bear hugged. And then she gets off, of course, I hope. You go into the surgery. What was going through your head as you were getting prepped for surgery? You were still psyched the entire time?
I was psyched, saying this is a mitzvah you only get to do once in your life. Only once. You can never do it again. And that was the reason why I got involved with Renewal. Because it was something that I wanted to do again and again and again and again. But physically, I was not able to.
So before Renewal, though, what did you do right after you donated your kidney? How were you able to get people involved before even joining Renewal?
So what happened after that was a very interesting story. So far, about 43 of my friends have donated kidneys. 43 friends and family have donated kidneys already. So I bounced right back after that surgery. The surgery was on Tuesday. I was home on Thursday. As a matter of fact, that Friday, if you Google Friday, February, what would it have been? February 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 2013, you see there was a heavy-duty snowstorm, about 27 inches of snow on the ground. And I said, I'm going to shul that day. I want to go to shul. I want to walk in. I want the guys to see me. I want them to see they could do this. It's normally a 6-minute walk for me to get to shul. It was an hour walk for me to get to shul because I still was, I was still in
Because of the
pain.
kidney also?
Because of the surgery I went to. But I made it to the shul, and the place was going wild. My friend Ralph Hannon came to visit me the day after I came home from surgery. He goes, "Wow, you look great. You're unbelievable. I'm going to do this. I want to do it. I want to do it." I said, "Relax, take it. That's so easy to match." "No, I'm going to do it. Give me the number. Give me the number. I want to call him up." He called him up, and sure enough, he was a match. And 2 or 3 months later, he donated his kidney. And people just kept on donating and donating.
Ripple effect.
Ripple effect. They saw one guy did it, said, if he could do it, I could do it. And sure enough, a lot of people started doing it. Right now in the community, it's not something unheard of. Back in the day, it was unheard of. You're going to donate your kidney? Are you crazy? What kind of crazy person are you? But today, people are doing it.
So before, people were kind of playing like kind of devil's advocate. You would say like what about your kids? Exactly like the psychologist. You would say like, what about your kids? What about your wife? What about that friend? What if you lose his kidney? Like, what do you want to do? How did that change so suddenly? It was like slow and gradual, or did it just happen almost instantly after you'd given your kidney? Did you kind of like spark this?
So
inspiration?
Renewal took care of a lot of those questions.
Who?
Renewal.
Oh, Renewal.
Took care of a lot of those questions. As time developed and as we started perfecting the system more and more, we said, you know what? If anybody in your family needs a kidney, they move to the top of the list. So don't ever fear that you can't give it to your kids because you gave your kidney away. If your child, God forbid, needs a kidney, he's on top of the list. He'll get a kidney in a week. Okay, what about my friend? I could have given my friend the kidney, and now I didn't because I gave my kidney away. What about? So we give one trump card. You have one card, like a joker. You can use it anytime, one time, for anybody.
That's awesome.
You have a cousin in Texas. You want to use it for him? Because you only have one kidney to give away. Mm-hmm. So we'll let you use the card one time. One time you can use that card to give a kidney to someone that will move that person to the top of the list for you.
Smart. It's smart to keep, not to have anyone like kind of abuse the system, but at the same time get what they need.
Well, the number one deal breaker,
is there buy one, get one free? Or
is the spouse. Most of the time, I should say most of the time, if we have somebody that can't make it to the end, becomes part of that 70% that don't make it, it's because their wife or the husband say, there's no way you're giving away. I'm not allowing it. You can't do it. If you give away your kidney, give away both of them because you're not coming back in the house. So it happens a lot of times.
That's crazy.
That the spouse is the deal breaker.
It's kind of hard, no? It's scary. I mean,
scary.
if I understand it though, like I feel like if I was married to someone, I'd be scared if they're giving a kidney. But I mean, looking at you, seeing you talk to me right now, it doesn't seem as kind of hard as you would think it is, like you're living, you're breathing, you're thriving, and you're actively advocating for renewal. So what are people missing about
that's exactly what are people missing? Exactly. People have misfaith, so they don't understand the process. They think you give away a kidney, that means you're on medication the rest of your life. I take no medication. Zero. I don't need a pill. There's nothing I can't do. There's 2 things they tell me that I shouldn't do. What are those 2 things they tell me I shouldn't do? They said I shouldn't play tackle football, and I shouldn't go black diamond skiing. Not because I can't do it, because if I fall, I might fall. If I'm skiing, I might fall on my kidney, my remaining kidney. Or if I'm boxing, I might get a kidney punch, and therefore I'm in trouble. But if I insist that I want to box, they said you have to just wear a kidney belt. Which if you ever see that the boxers, they wear those heavy belt around their kidneys, they're protecting their kidneys by doing that. But there's nothing, I play racquetball 3-4 times a week. I'm in, Baruch Hashem, great shape.
Are you good?
Pretty good, yeah. I'll take you on whenever you're ready. But I play a lot of sports. I'm very active. And people say, you know what, the guy looks like he's normal. I mean, why can't I do this? If he could do it, I could do it also. And more people are jumping on that bandwagon because they want to be able to take advantage of this one miracle, this one mitzvah you can never do again. You can't do it again.
Amazing. And so I went through right after you had donated your kidney, but what finally inspired you? I know you joined Renewal about a year later to become a community advocate, correct?
Correct.
And what sparked that decision to finally join Renewal a year after?
The taste of being able to save someone's life. Like I mentioned earlier, it's something that you want. If you ask any kidney donor, what's the one thing you regret? I regret that I can't do this again. Every single one of them will tell you the only thing I regret is that I can't do this again. And I felt that regret, but I felt it in a very, very deep way. And I said, you know what? I can't physically do it again, but I can make sure other people could get transplanted by raising enough money to make it happen, to spreading enough awareness that people see this can be done. It's not some type of taboo or voodoo type of thing. Stay away from it. This is things we don't do. Our community, you know how many times I've heard it before in the past, going back in the day, our community doesn't do these type of things. Today, our community does these things because we see it's not hard. It's not difficult. It's all done laparoscopically through the belly. You don't even see anything. It's all done robotic.
Exactly.
It's easier than root canal. But thank God people are doing it.
Kosher Media is the largest advertising network across Jewish communities worldwide. They reach hundreds of thousands of people through text, email, and social blasts. With their network of hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers, dozens of WhatsApp chats, and so much more, they are the go-to advertising network for the Jewish community. Check them out at koshermedia.com and level up your marketing game today. What impact did Renewal have on the community, and what impact did the community have on Renewal? I feel like it worked both ways because it kind of brought both of them together, and the fact that Renewal got even introduced to the community is frankly amazing.
So before I got involved, before I donated my kidney, there was one person in Rabbi Ozeri's shul that needed a kidney. His name was Ronan Bakazga. That was his name. I wasn't involved with Renewal at all at the time. And he was a miracle man in himself. He was on dialysis for 17 years. Now, let me just explain to you what that means. That means he's on a machine that's keeping him alive. He goes to that machine 3 times a week, 4 hours at a time. You cannot work after that because you're physically and mentally exhausted. You can't work before that because you're going through what they call brain fog. So 17 years of his life are like ruined. He can't function. So he was on a machine. Most people go on dialysis after 5 to 7 years. 70% of the people are not alive anymore. They're dead. So although that machine is keeping people alive, they know it's a clock running against them if they don't get a transplant. And in America, most people don't get transplanted. Most people die. And the ones that do get transplanted, they get it from a cadaver, which is someone that passed away, someone that got hit by a bus. They're grabbing that kidney. To get the live donors like we have is unheard of. Matter of fact, I've been contacted by the NKF, which is the National Kidney Foundation. How do you do this? How do you have 4,000 people ready to donate kidneys? In America, there's only a couple hundred people ready to donate kidneys. How do you have 4,000? I said, it's very simple. They're Jews. Jews will help you Jews. The rest of the world, the rest of America is not Jewish people looking to help each other. The Jews will do anything to help another Jew. So Renewal was introduced to the community through Rabbi Ozeri because they were trying to raise money for this man to get him a transplant and to spread awareness. That was the first connection to the community. And at that time, they were doing about 23 transplants a year. When I got involved, I got the entire community involved, meaning I speak in every shul. I'm in Brooklyn maybe 20 times, 25 times a year speaking over there. I speak in all the shuls here in Jersey. I have all the events. People know, when people think of kidney, they think of AJ. I became already, they already changed my last name from AJ Gindi to AJ Kidney. So my last name's been changed already. But people watch, I get people give me a phone call. Did you see NYPD, the news, the episode today, talking about the guy with the kidney transplant? What do you think about that? People watch TV shows. They call me about the TV shows. But we changed. Renewal became on the map. Baruch Hashem, when I got involved with them, because I introduced them to the community on a communal level, across the entire community. And we went from doing 23, 25 to the next year we did 48. The next year we did 70. Next year we did 90. Next year we did 119. And then COVID hit. When COVID hit, that knocked us out. Totally knocked out because they considered transplants, they considered elective surgery, something that you want to do. You don't have to do it like a nose job. I mean, you don't get a kidney transplant, you're going to die. But the hospitals were all closed. The only thing open to hospitals was COVID. Ventilators. That's it. You need a ventilator, you can come in. You don't need a ventilator, you can't come in. We had 52 transplants canceled in 2020 when COVID hit. Otherwise, we would have hit a whole different peak. So we went from 119, went right back down to 79, 78 the next year. But Baruch Hashem, like I said, last year we did 153. This year we're probably on pace for 175. But the sky is the limit to what we can do. We now are doing transplants across America. Back in the old days, when I say the old days, I'm talking about 2 or 3 years ago, If someone in LA needed a kidney, they'd have to fly into New York. You live in Canada, you live in Florida, you got to come to New York. You live in Texas, you got to come to New York. Right now, we've opened up 31 different transplant centers across America. So you live in LA, you're staying in LA. We'll fly the donor to you. It's much easier to fly the donor. A donor comes home in 2 days. You have to stay next to the hospital base for at least 2 months. And we've done now people from 9 different countries. I just was in Panama a few months ago. We brought back people from Panama that need kidney transplants. There's no way to get a kidney transplant in Panama. We brought them over here. We did them over here.
It's actually incredible. And also, you just said you have 31 centers in America, and also you've expanded your entire organization to 9 different countries, not only Panama, but Argentina, Mexico, Canada, England, all these
South America.
South Africa. South Africa, all these places. How did it happen to change into this small little organization in Brooklyn or Borough Park to kind of what it is today?
Global organization. Today it's a global organization helping people from around the world. Rabbi Atiyah just got a kidney from us. He was in Israel. He lives in Israel. He was on dialysis for 7 years, I believe. That's the number I heard, 7 years. Someone from the States, his name is Isaac Seda, went to go visit the rabbi. He was in Israel. He said, I'm going to stop by, see the rabbi. He went to go see the rabbi. He saw the rabbi was in terrible condition. He said, Rabbi, what's going on? Because I'm on dialysis and waiting for a kidney. I can't get a kidney. I said, well, relax, 1 second. Makes a phone call. He called me up. He says, I have a rabbi here, Rabbi T. I'm sure you know who he is. And I didn't know who he was. He goes, he needs a kidney. Can we help him? I said, sure. Get him to the States. Bring him to the States. We'll test him. We'll find the match. Bring him to the States. We'll test him. Let him go back home. We'll find the match. When he's ready for the transplant, we'll bring him back. We'll do the transplant. We brought him in. We flew him in. A lot of people were involved. Rabbi Shlomo Cohen, Rabbi Eli Ben Chaim, to bring him in, to make sure the insurance was taken care of, whatever needed to be taken care of was done. We brought him in here. 4 months later, he was transplanted.
Amazing.
4 months. We have such an incredible database that we could choose from. A database. We have what's called the Next Gen Match, a testing program which was built from the community. 10 guys from the community built us this program. Cost us $1 million. 10 guys chipped in for $100,000 each to build us this system that we could practically match anybody in the world with the kidney transplant. Not only a kidney that's going to last them for a few years, a kidney that probably lasts them the rest of their lives.
It seems that it's really helping a lot of people from, like you said, from all the way in Israel. So how does the system work exactly?
Well, a person needs a kidney. They're in dire need of a kidney. So first of all, the proper thing to do is let the word out. Let people know. Talk. Because if you're just quiet about it and you're going to work in your own little world, you're not going to find out what's out there. So as people talk and the name Renewal becomes more of a name, more of a household name, people just say, why don't you just call Renewal? We just had a case. I'm sure you know the name of Pupa Dweck. She puts out those cookbooks. Aromas from Aleppo is one of her latest ones. She's coming out with a new one now. Her husband needed a kidney, and they didn't tell anybody. They were very, very quiet about it. Her husband was 82 years old. He needed a kidney, and she says, I'll give you my kidney. I think she's 77 years old. She says, I'll give you my kidney. So let's go to the hospital. They went to Robert Wood Johnson, RWJ in East Brunswick, and they said, listen, my husband needs a kidney. I'm ready to give my kidney. Can you test us to make sure we match? See everything's okay? So the intake person says, Mr. Dweck, how old are you? I'm 82. He goes, 82? We're not going to do a transplant on an 82-year-old. We can't do a transplant. You're 82 years old. You know, I'm in good health. I'm good. My wife wants to give the kidney. I'm sorry, sir, but we're not going to take a chance on an 82-year-old. We're not going to do the transplant.
It's not allowed?
It's allowed, but the hospitals are only worried about numbers. How do their projections of their numbers? If they, God forbid, have a death or any type of miscalculation, it throws their numbers off, their ratings are off, their funding is out the window, they could lose a lot of funding for that. So they're more worried about numbers, and they won't take any chances. So she says, what do I do? Well, you're probably going to go on dialysis for a couple of years, and you'll enjoy the rest of your life. Whatever you have left, you'll enjoy it. Because another option, she goes, yeah, why don't you try Hackensack Hospital? Maybe they'll take you. Gets in his car, make a schedule, an appointment to go to Hackensack. They go to Hackensack, go through the same routine all over again. Intake person Okay, Mr. Dweck, how old are you? 82? 82, I'm sorry, we're not going to do you. He's walking out, he's totally depressed. He's looking at a life on dialysis, whatever life he has left on dialysis.
And like you
He's,
said, it's horrible. It's unimaginable.
it's unimaginable, and he's only got a couple of years because he's already so old already. He'll only have a couple of years on the machine. As he's walking out the door, one of the people that was interviewing him, one of the intake nurses, said, "Mr. Dweck, can I ask you a question? Are you Jewish?" Goes, "Yeah, why?" Goes, "Why don't you just call Renewal?" Goes, "What?" "Call Renewal, they'll find you a kidney." Sure enough, I happen to know who Pupa is. She called me, and I think it was about 3 or 4 months later, 5 months later, he was transplanted.
It's so fast. It's so quick.
So quick.
It's really quick.
What takes in the world in America 7 years to find. We're able to find it in months, thank God.
Back to what you were saying about the community with the project they did. You said the
Next gen match.
The next gen match. It seems to me that Renewal kind of took off once the community got involved. Is that how it happened, or was it kind of a culmination of different communities at the same time helping out?
The main and the biggest supporter of Renewal is the community. The community took Renewal to a totally different level, something they never dreamed they'd ever be able to get to. They were at a point where they were doing 20, 25 transplants a year, and they were heroes. They were heroes to 25 families a year, and they were happy with that number. But we always knew there's much more we could do, and there's more people out there that need, and we have to get to those people, and we have to get the word out. People got to. We have now called a swabbing mobile. It's a big, huge van, decked out, costs a couple $100,000 to put it together.
It's awesome.
And we drive that swabbing across America, spreading the word and testing people right on the spot. We'll pull up in front of a shul, and we'll spend the whole day there and test everybody that walks out of the shul. We'll pull up in front of a supermarket, wait for people to come out in good Jewish towns. We just had an event in Baltimore this past, right before Tisha B'Av. We had an event. Somebody needed a kidney in Baltimore. That's how we do most of our testing. We do it around somebody that needs a kidney. And there was a young man in the community. I think he had 2 children. He needed a kidney desperately. That's another thing I want to tell you about the age, who needs kidneys. But this man needed a kidney, and we took our swabbing van out there, and we had men dispatched about 8 or 9 different locations. We tested 541 people. That's 541 more people on our list that are ready to donate. Now, some of those people only want to donate to this guy.
But just from one person.
For one person. 500. Rabbi Dweck, you know Rabbi Isaac Dweck?
Yeah.
He lives in Lakewood. I used to be the rabbi of Dil Shul. He was the rabbi of Dil Shul until he moved to Lakewood. For him, 500 people came forward to test for him. And he needed a kidney. He's another person we did a kidney for. I mean, from the community, we've done just people. Sarah's tent, the owner of Sarah's tent, we did him. Rabbi Zachi Levishon, we did him as well. Eddie Sit, Levishon. We did a lot of people from the community. A.B. Franco. But just to go back to what I was telling you, so when we make an event around somebody, that's how we bring in a bunch of new donors. So 541 from this one person. We've done children as young as 2 years old. And when you find the kidney for a child, that's not easy at all, because his kidney would probably fit in the child. Your kidney would probably fit in the child. But in most cases, it's not. I mean, your body is not the same size of a child. So to put your kidney in somebody else is not so easy. So you need to be a certain makeup of a person. When we want to do a transplant for a child, people come out in the hundreds that want to test. We broke the world record for the oldest donor. We broke the record with the 82 recipient. The oldest recipient was 82. We broke that record with 83. We broke that record with 85. Then we did 86. There's no limit to where we'll stop. We won't stop.
No stopping.
If we have a good, healthy 90-year-old, we will find somebody that wants to donate to a 90-year-old. We have people that come up to us and they tell us, I want your oldest person on the list because I know they got no shot to ever get a kidney. I want to be the one to give it to them. Wow. We just did, about a month and a half ago, a 7-month-old that needed a liver. We do livers also. Livers are not as easy as kidneys. But we had found the 7-month-old. The way you do a liver is you take a piece of someone's liver, you put that into another person, and that regenerates, and it grows. And it continues to grow until it's 100% size. Both will grow. The part that you took out of the donor will grow back to the normal size, and the part that you're giving to the recipient will grow to a full size. So we just did a 7-month-old child that needed a liver.
That's incredible.
I want to tell you a story. I was in the hospital. a little baby was getting a kidney transplant in Philadelphia. When we do transplants for children, 99% of the time they're done in Philadelphia. So this little baby needed a transplant. I was there with the family. It was a 14-hour surgery. Now you can't imagine the amount of tears that were coming out of this lady's eyes and her husband praying for their baby 14 hours. After 14-hour surgery, I sat with them the whole time in the hospital. The surgeon came out. He goes, okay, the surgery was a success. So I pulled him to the side. I said, doctor, wow, 14 hours. Why so long? So long. Why so long? Normally these things are 6 hours, 7 hours tops. 14 hours? He said, AJ, you have any idea how small the sinews, how small the arteries, how small the veins are that we have to connect on this little child? They're minuscule. They're so small. Each one takes a half hour, each one. And we have so many that we have to do. Okay, so I went with the parents now to the recovery room. And the mother's crying, and she's crying, and she's crying. Her name was, I think, Mrs. Rabinowitz, if I'm not mistaken. I said, Mrs. Rabinowitz, it's over. We're done. You can stop crying now. Baby's healthy. Baby's going to be good. She goes, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. I said, please tell me, what don't I understand? Because we live in Borough Park. We had to drive from Borough Park to Philadelphia 3 times a week so my baby could get dialysis. And we had to be here 7 o'clock in the morning. It's a 3.5-hour drive from Borough Park to Philadelphia to the hospital, which means 3 times a week, we got to wake up at 3:30 in the morning, knock on my neighbor's door, ask them to please come over and watch my children so I can drive this child to the hospital. You didn't only save my little baby's life. You saved our family. We can live like normal human beings. We don't have to wake up. I don't have to worry if my kids got their lunch packs, if they got their knapsacks, if they got their homework ready. Everything's back to normal. We have a normal life. I have a normal baby. I don't have to come back here ever again.
So Renewal's not only saving lives, it's saving entire families.
Well, take the numbers. We did over 1,300 transplants, just like them at 1,300, right? If each person knows 10 people, how many people are affected?
13,000.
13,000. Now, that's just their family. Now, add a couple of cousins and some friends, and you go to a little party, little birthday party, you have 100 people. So take 100 people now that know this particular person. How many people are affected by that transplant?
130,000.
130,000 people. That's a big impact. 130, that's only 100 people. You go to one of our community weddings, you're looking at 500-600 people come to a wedding. Take those numbers, you're talking about in the millions of people that are being affected by one transplant. So when I tell people, we have people that sponsor transplants. I go around raising money, and to sponsor transplants, $18,900. If anybody's watching this wants to sponsor one, please see me. I tell people, I said, listen, I don't have a building to sell you. I'm not going to put your name on a classroom. I'm not going to put your name on a shul wall. Your name is going to be on someone's back. They're going to be walking around the city with your name on their back because you kept them alive. If you sponsored a transplant for a man, every time that guy puts on tefillin, every time that guy reads from a chumash, every time that guy says a perek tehillim, that's your mitzvah. Every time a lady lights a candle for Friday night, every time she takes care of her children, every time she does a mitzvah, she puts a little tzedakah, that's your mitzvah. You help a little child, he grows up from the age of 3 till 83 to 93, his whole life is you. You're duplicating yourself through somebody else by sponsoring a transplant. I can't put your name on a wall, but your name is going to be on someone's back the rest of their lives.
That's wonderful.
Something crazy to think about.
It really is. It's kind of inspiring to see that your impact kind of extends in every single mitzvah that someone does,
People tell me, they come up to me and say, the reason, mashallah, our community has a tremendous amount of charities out there, tremendous amount of charities. But people come up to me and say, you know what I'd love to give to your charity? I see the money working. I mean, I don't know, you're not on my email list, which I should put you on. Every time we do a transplant, we send it out to the community.
I want to be on that.
Transplant's being done, little video about the person, pictures about the transplant, that they see what's going on. They say, I see it happening. I see another life saved. We're doing almost a transplant a day. They say, I see it happening. I see lives that are being saved. I see the money really working. It's not just going into a black hole somewhere where it got lost in the system. It's actually going to save somebody's life. And let's be straight. If someone does not get a kidney transplant, they're going to die. Not like they're going to be sick for a little while and then eventually they're going to get better or they'll overcome or whatever it is. They will die. Very simple. I had a case of a man who refused to go back on dialysis. He was an older man. He was 83 years old. And he said, I'm not going back on that machine. I'm not going back. They hate it. It's like fire running through their blood. They can't take it. It's killing them. And most dialysis center, they have a lot of African Americans that are there. Unfortunately, they also are very, very high risk for diabetes. They have diabetes, which causes kidney failure. And their feet are cut off, their hands are cut off. That's what diabetes, you start losing parts of your limbs. Or if you see an empty chair, that means a person died. So I spoke to this guy. I said, I'm not going back. 2 of the chairs next to me are empty. I know the guy's died. I'm not going back. I'm not going to die. I don't care. And I told him, if you don't go back on that machine, you're going to die. You will die. If you don't give me a chance to find you a kidney, by going in that machine, you're going to die. And sure enough, his wife called me up one morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll never forget it, the call. AJ, can you please come to the house? He doesn't want to go on dialysis. I got dressed, went into his house. He's sitting on the couch in his pajamas. I said, what's going on? Because I'm not going back. I said, you're going to go back. I'm taking you back right now. Get dressed. I'm taking you back to the dialysis center. 2 weeks later, the same story happened again. He told his wife, don't call AJ. Don't you dare call him. And she didn't call me. He ended up in the hospital, and he died a week later. That machine keeps him alive, but they don't like it. They don't like it.
Pretend I'm someone at any of your events, like a fundraiser, or not even a fundraiser, but you're trying to tell me you're asking me to donate a kidney for Renewal. So how are you convincing all of these people to go out and just give their kidney?
So our biggest billboards are our kidney donors. Our kidney donors bring in more kidney donors. When people go to different communities, they go to a Teaneck, they go to Englewood, they go to Baltimore, they go to California, they go to Florida. After they donate their kidneys, we make around those people events. I'll go to Teaneck, which is a very, very big area that donates a lot of kidneys from Teaneck, or Williamsburg. Or if the Rebbe in Williamsburg tells people to donate their kidneys, the floodgate comes through. They're all coming through, they're all signing up to donate their kidneys. But we'll go around these areas. Let's say, another example, Baltimore is a very big hub of kidney donations. And we'll make an event around all the kidney donors, celebrating life around them. 10 or 12, 15 kidney donors together. We'll make a big party for them and invite 1,000 people. And right there at that event, we'll sign up another 300 or 400 people. People see other people do it, that motivates them. I want to do that. They could do it. If he could do it, I could do it. Why can't I do it? Look at him. He looks great. No meds, no handicap. He's not walking sideways. There's nothing he can't do that he was doing before. He can drink anything he wants. People tell me, oh, I like to drink, but I can't drink anymore. I said, what if drink goes through that's going through your liver? Has nothing to do with your kidney. Has nothing to do with your kidney. You can drink all you want. So people see that and they say, wow, this is incredible. I can't believe it. I never knew this. So the awareness factor is what brings in more donors.
Tell me about the medical side of someone donating a kidney. So is it if both of people's kidneys don't work, so now they need a kidney transplant? Is it something that can just happen in their body?
No, that's a great question, and that comes up all the time. The question is, why would I want to give away one kidney? That means I only have one left. And now if that one goes bad, I would have had an extra one I would have had a backup, like a spare. We have 2 kidneys. One kidney works 30% of the time, and the other one works 70% of the time. Together, they work 100% of the time. The kidney is a muscle. When a person goes through kidney failure, both kidneys go out. You lose both kidneys. So there's not like saving one for a rainy day. If a person is going through renal failure, which is kidney failure, you're going to lose both your kidneys anyway. When you give away one of your kidneys, when you become a kidney donor, you're not in any less a position than someone that has 2 kidneys, because your one kidney will build itself up to do 100% of the job. So you had 2, one doing 70%, one 30%. You'll always give away the weaker one. You give away the 30% one. Your 70% one that you held on to is going to build itself up to do 100% of the job. So you're not in any safety zone by saving a kidney. Because if God forbid something happens, it happens to both kidneys. Both kidneys are going to go anyway.
AJ, you've told me a lot about the process of donating a kidney and what you really have to do. So what if I'm thinking of donating a kidney right now? What's my next step?
We go to the back room, I have my scalpel, a little alcohol, and it's out. Now, in all seriousness, you would call my office, and I would give you the phone number. You call my office, you set up an appointment. They'll send you what they call a swab kit. It's a little kit, small little package. You put a cotton swab in your mouth, like they did for put a bone marrow before what we were doing before, and then they'll take that, they'll run it through our lab, and we'll match you up with the person that you're going to match up with. When we find a good match for you, usually we'll come up with 3 or 4 matches that you match, and we'll give you the option. I have a 18-year-old young man that needs a kidney. I have a 75-year-old grandfather of 22 grandchildren. I have a young woman, she's 36, looking to have her first child. She doesn't have a child yet. I have a little boy that's 4 years old. I'll tell you, these are your matches. Who would you like to give to? And it's your choice. And it's also your choice of when you want to do it. Let's say you say, you know what, I'm in the middle of summer, having a great time. I'm going to the casino every day. I'm with my buddies. I'm surfing and learning surfing all day. I don't want to ruin my summer. I'd rather do it like in the wintertime. We work around your schedule. When it's good for you, you'll probably need a good 2-week period because you're going to be out of it for about 2 weeks. We're going to work around your schedule. What about my pay? I'm going to lose money. You're not going to lose $1. We're taking care of everything that you could ever think of. What if I have to go to LA? Who's taking care of the flight? We're flying you there. We're putting you in a hotel. You have a girlfriend you want us to fly out with you. Whatever you want. Whatever you need. You have a wife. You have children we need to take care of. You need a chadama in the house for 2 weeks. We'll take care of it. Your kids got to go to camp. We'll take care of it. Whatever you could think of, we'll take care of it. That's our job. We take care of every possible expense for the donor and many expenses for the recipient as well. But in any case, you'd call the office. We'd send you the kit. You do the swab. We'll come up with a match. You decide when you want to do it, and you're good to go.
I guess there's no excuse now.
There's no excuse.
It's been amazing. And you joining Renewal had just propelled it into creating something that has become incredible for hundreds of Jews worldwide and hopefully thousands in the future.
100%. And now anybody that needs a kidney, they think of one word, renewal. And we're solving the problem. Thank God.
Amazing. Thank you so much for watching this episode. There were so many amazing moments. But here are my top 3 takeaways. Number 1, you don't need to start an organization to make an impact on others' lives. AJ Gindi is not the founder of Renewal. In fact, he's the community advocate of Renewal, but that has not stopped him from raising millions of dollars from the community and helping build a database of kidney donors that has now reached 4,000 people, taking Renewal to an entirely new level, showing that you don't need a title to transform lives, just commitment and the willingness to use your voice and network. Number 2, do something that you love. Something that you can't get enough of, because then you will truly feel fulfilled from your actions. AJ mentioned that the biggest regret of kidney donors he knows is that they just can't do it again. If you do something you love, you'll find yourself wishing you can give even more. Not because you have to, but because the joy and the meaning it brings makes you want to keep going. And finally, number 3. Utilize your own network. The addition of AJ to Renewal changed the organization completely. And that was only because he used his community network to raise money and bring in more donor support. If you continue to lean into your relationships, whether it's friends, family, coworkers, or even casual acquaintances, you will realize that your impact expands far beyond what you could achieve alone. A single conversation, introduction, or recommendation from within your circle can open doors that would otherwise remain closed. And one more thing before we go. This podcast is still in its early stages, and this is just one of our first episodes, and I need your feedback. If there's anything that you think I can do better, any kind of feedback at all, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.